So one of the big ideas is this nervous system is kind of operating always in the background, kind of just beneath the surface, and it's there all the time, but we're not aware necessarily, or many of us aren't aware that it's there. And that lack of awareness, in addition to it being there, is a big problem for a lot of people that prevents them from kind of finding that sense of well-being and purpose and relational security and connection that they want with spouses or kids. Or is that kind of one of the big ideas?
Yeah, I think you're really hitting, some key understandings there. So the fancy term for kind of what you're talking about, that behind the scenes functioning of the nervous system, is called neuroception. And so kind of what's happening at the level of our nervous system is that it is always running behind the scenes. It functions as more or less a surveillance system for our safety and well-being. And so it is always operating outside of our consciousness, and it's just making snap judgments in the moment about how safe or not safe we are in different environments. And so that works really great a lot of the time. And then there's other times where our nervous systems can get kind of patterned for, just a whole variety of reasons towards being more on edge, towards maybe reading into situations where something isn't as dangerous as the nervous system is perceiving it or neurocepting it as being. And those are the places where we just really end up with kind of a mismatch between what's actually going on in our environment and what our nervous system thinks is going on in our environment. And we find ourselves, either underreacting or overreacting to different situations in our lives. And so it's that mismatch, I guess, that we end up spending a lot of time talking about in our key courses at Big Calm, kind of building some understanding about why that exists, and then what do we do about it.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So if I'm listening though, and I think like, oh, I've got a good handle on this. I do some meditation. I try and pace myself and not cram too much into life. I maybe go to therapy, do breath work. I do things to try and balance that stuff out. Is there anything wrong with that, or if there's nothing wrong with it, why isn't it good enough for some people?
I would really say for some people that maybe is good enough. They maybe do have kind of a really solid balance in their system. They don't feel like they're overreacting or underreacting to a lot of different experiences happening in their lives. And so, kind of the if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of mindset, I guess, is the things that we're offering. Maybe there are people out there who have kind of found their way into this knowledge base and understanding. Some of what you're talking about there, though, is maybe kind of more maintenance practices that are a part of keeping our nervous system in good condition. And we might be doing those things, and they might be, like I would argue that they're always going to be helpful to us. But then we might be plugging along through our life and finding that there's certain things that can just set us off. And so no amount of meditation, no amount of yoga, no amount of healthy eating seems to kind of quite be getting at the area that's kind of getting activated in our nervous system. And so for some people that might be being in a social experience. And so they're just going into new places around new people, and they find, they try to meditate ahead of time. They try to do these different things. They try to have all this positive self-talk. And yet they go in, and man, their nervous system just starts going to town on them. and essentially the nervous system starts to perceive, all the people in the environment as dangerous. So the nervous system is going into that patterning of protecting itself, or helping to protect the person. And when we are trying to build new social connections, that's not a very useful physiological state for us to be in. Our nervous system is pulling us back. Our body's even going to be sending cues to the people around us, maybe that we're not so open to connection. And so there's just a lot of different things that can go on that start to get in our way. And then there's, a lot of maybe how we've grown up, these different patterns that kind of get wired into our system, so to speak, that come online kind of again unconsciously, and they're getting in our way.